Hello. Yeah, all good?
Yeah. This is a good start on it. Yeah.
Are we live now?
Yeah.
Right,
I was like, are you ready? I put the thumbs up.
The microphone was just like not. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It's been an absolute fucking nightmare prior to this. If people could see what's going on behind closed doors, honestly, what a nightmare. Oh my god. Right, anyway, we're here now. My microphone, you can hear me, you can see me, and you can see us. That's the main thing. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, a fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. Hope you're all doing well on this fine Friday. Of course, it is the morning after the special night in the new Camp Nou, however you call it. And the excitement doesn't stop there because today is the technically the soft deadline day for bids to go in and buy Manchester United. Now, it's not going to be some sort of transfer deadline day where a member of the Qatari royal family is outside fucking Carrington with his pen and paper waving it to Alvan Glazer. But we should, basically what's going to come out of it, we should start getting a solid idea of who these guys are who want to buy, well, guys or girls who want to buy Manchester United off the back of this. And I've got Shreyas and Sam to go through and discuss these bids with myself, of course. So how are you doing, lads?
Go on, Shreyas. I thought I'd be a gentleman, but all right.
Yeah. I'm doing perfectly fine. Nick, how are you doing today?
I think you know what I'm doing, mate. We can skip that question. Not very well.
Nick thinks that he's being over dramatic when he says technology's against him, but in some cases it really is. We've just experienced that.
It's a nice balance of some parts stupidity, some parts just completely not my fault, and I can't, nothing I can do about it.
And it does make me laugh, but then at the same time it causes chaos. But yeah, I'm all right. I'm starting to get over the illness that I was in. So yeah, starting to feel better, which is good because we're almost at the weekend. So perfect timing.
Good stuff. Now, as we all know, over the past couple of weeks, guys, there's been more and more news emerging regarding a Qatari takeover, and that's especially over the last 24 hours. It's really starting to heat up now, and they've been tipped as the heavy favourites for many people kind of reporting on this situation. They obviously have financial power. They're probably going to pay the most. They won't overpay, but usually when these people go in for things, they kind of rarely miss out. Sam, now you've seen things heat up. It's getting closer and closer. What's your feeling on this deal, and do you think it will end up going to Qatar?
Will it go to Qatar? More than likely. They're the only, from the reports say they're the only ones, along with the Saudis, I suppose. But I don't know if there'd be a conflict of interest there because they own Newcastle. So I don't know what the thing is there. They have the deepest pockets. They have the means to buy the club with no leverage buyout, no debt, no thing holding them back that would stop them from sort of buying the club in terms of just straight up cash, which is probably what the Glazers want. That's and they'll pay the most, so it'll probably go to them. That's the most likely person it's going to go to. However, am I happy with it? No. It's not a Qatari thing, although Qatari's history of human rights abuses, as we saw during the World Cup, and LGBTQ rights and women's rights, etc., they're not great. The history is well known there. Again, it's not a personal attack against Qatari people. I'm sure the Qatari people are absolutely amazing. I've heard the hospitality for the people who were there are absolutely amazing. The people who went to the World Cup. I don't have a problem with the people and Qatari people. I have a problem with state-owned clubs. I wouldn't want the club to be owned by the UK government because we all know what a bunch of fuckheads they are as well. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want my club owned by a state. Like, it's just not it. It's Qatari, Saudi, American, UK, whatever country it is. I don't want it owned by a state. But I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice in the matter. It's not up to me. It's up to the Glazers, and they're just going to go for the money. So I think I saw a report. It said by Easter they'll be under new hands, under new ownership. So if that's the case, that's what's going to happen. I've got no control over it. A couple of comments. Chivy, can't read that one out, sorry. Just check the comments for that one. MJ, get ready for them oil money jokes. Yeah, that's definitely coming. Dan Raj, UEFA planning to block Qatari bid, but then what's about the Qataris already owning European clubs? That's interesting. Yeah. Aaron Diaz, why have United hired a director of operations for the club when the club is for sale? Are we going to get into that at all?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into that later, Aaron. So yeah, just so you know.
Yeah, I've just seen what you're
Yeah, I
referring
can't
to
put that.
there. Jesus Christ, yeah. It's interesting in it, Shreyas, because the Athletic have done a poll on this with, I think it was 8,000 people who's involved, and apparently 2/3 of the fan base said Jim Ratcliffe. But then United Stand did a poll. You obviously have a massive kind of fan reach. It's a little bit more international based. Theirs was 70% for Qatar, and then like 20% for Jim Ratcliffe, and then percentage for others as well. I'm not sure what the demographic for Athletic listeners is. I suppose that, I'm kind of one myself, but would you look into that too much, like where the fan base are at? Like, it's obviously like Sam said, we're not going to have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have an opinion on it, but we're not going to have a say on essentially how it goes down. Where's he gone?
Have we lost Shreyas?
Fucking hell, man! What
What
is
is
going on?
technology that's just going on here? Jesus Christ.
He's gone for now. He's gone for now.
Okay.
If
Carry
you don't
on.
mind, Sam, I'll
Yeah.
swing the question your way,
Yeah.
basically. But yeah, I suppose, can we look into that too much? The poll that the Athletic released this morning, 8,000 people apparently.
It's different demographics, isn't it? Because the United Stand, they have a very broad user base. Like, a lot of them aren't match-going fans; they're worldwide fans. They've got 1.5 million followers, subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are not match-going fans. Mark Goldbridge is not a match-going fan. I'm not using that as an insult. He isn't. He doesn't go to matches. I think Shreyas might be on his way back. So I think it's a different type of fan base. The Athletic, it's more people who, and I think Mark Goldbridge's fan base is also younger. It's a younger fan base, I think. High school, young university, college kids. Whereas I think the Athletic is more people in full-time employment, been in employment for a while, disposable income, have money to go to games, etc. So I think it's a different sort of fan base. So the younger kids probably see just money, buy Mbappe, trophies, don't really see the implications outside of that, whereas the Athletic are probably more thinking about, okay, state ownership, connections to possible human rights abuses, how's that going to affect the game, all these state-owned clubs within the Premier League, when does it become less of a fan-owned thing, all that sort of stuff. So it's two different fan bases. I think it's very, it's hard to gauge a full, unless you sort of went to the season ticket holders, I think then you'd get a proper idea of it, but it's very hard to gauge. Shout out to I Love Man United, love your content, guys, thank you very much. Chivy, message redacted, was it offensive? It wasn't to me, but it might be to other people, so that's why I've not put it.
What it is, it's a dicey one. That's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
It is. So you can't really,
And
can't
then
really think it.
Aaron Diaz, the people voted on the Athletic, mainly suspected to be rival fans, because most fans on the United Stand want the Qataris. Yeah, like I said, it's contentious. It could be multiple different sort of strands, but Shreyas is back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was another earthquake or if you just decided to plug everything.
Apparently, another leopard is spotted though. So.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's all going off in India at the minute. I thought I had
Yeah.
problems with my frame falling off the wall. You got fucking leopards outside your house. Anyhow, Shreyas, you're more than welcome to add on to the original question that
I mean, I think the problem is we really don't know what's actually going to happen. No matter who is going to be the new owner, whether it's Jim Ratcliffe, whether it's the Qatari ownership. No one has we know these people are interested in buying the club, but none of them have actually come out and said what their intentions are with the club, what do they want to do with the club, what is their plan of action, after they take the ownership, how will they approach the windows, and how they assess the manager, and what how they would see Manchester United as a club which could proceed to be winning big titles in the coming 2 to 3 seasons. So definitely there are big doubts no matter who comes in, whether it's the Qatari ownership, whether it's Dubai, whether it's Saudi, whether it's someone completely different who might pop up by the end of tonight. So and like you mentioned, we've got different sources, we've got different channels where a lot of polls have been done, and the results have varied a lot. So you could see somewhere it is more inclined towards Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Some places it's more inclined towards the Qatari ownership. I think right now, probably when you look into the European side of things, with the European fans, they are more inclined perhaps towards Sir Jim Ratcliffe, but where I live in India and the Asian circuit, people are actually more inclined towards the Qatari ownership. because over the years they've seen how money is used in the Premier League and the other top clubs and the top leagues. They've seen how PSG have progressed over the past few years, and uh, overall the way football is progressing and these leagues are progressing, football money is the biggest thing that matters. And so a bigger demographic of the Asian fans definitely want Qatari ownership.
Yeah, I can imagine. And as it stands in regards to the ongoing thing at the minute, because obviously we mentioned the soft deadline today. So by 10 o'clock, the bids have got to be in. So as it stands, there's only been one public declaration so far. Like Jim Ratcliffe's the one who's actually come out and said, but I don't know what it is with the Qatari at the minute. If it's they've actually put it out there or they're just leaking stuff, it's not really concrete.
There's a lot of PR spin about the Qatari stuff, isn't there? Like a lot of stuff's come out about redeveloping the stadium, spending money. They want to back Ten Hag. It wouldn't be a problem. That's not an issue. They want to consult fans. Blah blah. There's a lot of stuff trying to get fans on their side. That's being leaked. So I think that's their way of indicating that they're going to bid for a club. Obviously, no official statements come out from any of them to say. I know there was a couple of things on Twitter yesterday just before the Barcelona game, but again, the authenticity of that we're not sure of. But yeah.
There's also expected to be at least 2 offers from the United States, and there've been suggestions of interest from Saudi Arabia as well. That means there could be up to 5 parties trying to negotiate a full sale, with others looking to make smaller investments as well in return for a partial take in the club. But like I suggested a few times, Qatar is already rumours that they're going to be the favourite. So for viewers, what would a Qatari bid look like? Basically, a final round of bidding was initially planned for March by the Rain Group, which has been put in charge of finding new owners or investors. The PSG president, Nasser, I'll probably butcher his second name, Al Khalifa, I think it is, set to be a key figure in any kind of Qatari ownership bid, even if you could have no direct involvement in the club. But we know, lads, with the dual ownership, it's not possible. It's not possible basically due to UEFA's rules. So that's a stumbling block they've got to get past. PSG, the people who own that can only own a minority stake. They can't buy the full club. So they have to do it through private individuals or a different organisation under the same umbrella. Essentially, it'll just be a different vehicle, but coming from the same manufacturer. It'll be state funded by Qatar royal family, but just a different private investor.
It's like cars at the minute. Like Volkswagen owns like multiple companies. They own Skoda, they own Volkswagen, they own I can't remember. There's another company. And it's
funny you mentioned Volkswagen, Sam. Yeah. Do you know what's funny? Do you know they own, like Qataris own Volkswagen?
Well, there you go.
Like they've got a big stake in that.
Well, they've got like 4 different car brands, and essentially underneath it's the same car, but they just stick a different badge on it, and you could charge more depending on the badge. So for a Skoda, you pay 14 grand. For the Volkswagen, you're gonna pay 20. But it's the same car. So let's just say, you pay for a badge. So that's pretty much what it is. It's gonna be the same company, QIS, QIA. It's not Saudi, Qatari royal family, essentially.
Yeah, you talk about loopholes. That's essentially the road they're going down, and it's going to be backed by the same kind of money. The money's going to be the same place. It's just under different umbrella. Do you have any worries on that front, though, Sam? That the competition could be jeopardised with 2 massive clubs being backed essentially with the same money.
It's the way football's going, isn't it? It's just the way it's going. Somehow they proved that the Saudi fund wasn't state-owned, even though it's called the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund. Who is the sovereign of Saudi Arabia? Prince bin
Hamad, is it?
Bin Hamad.
Yeah.
He's the head of the Royal Wealth Fund, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and they own by him. So I don't understand how they can get away with that and claim it's not connected to a state ownership. It is.
Loophole.
So it's just... This is the way. If you've got enough money, you can get away with it. That's how it works, basically. If you could chuck enough money at the problem, pay for their best solicitor, lawyer, pay your way, grease some wheels, shake some hands, etc., you can get away with pretty much anything. City did it, didn't they, previously against UEFA? Went to the Court of Arbitration and they essentially got away with a fine, which they can obviously easily afford. I expect it to go the same way for them against the Premier League. I don't expect much to happen there because... Cash. So that's the way it is. You need that sort of money to succeed in today's, especially in the Premier League, because it's full of it. You've got Newcastle, City, Chelsea, Todd Bowley chucking a lot of money around. I think even Leicester's owners got quite a bit of dough. Brentford are getting in on it. Bournemouth are getting in on it. Like a lot of clubs are getting a lot of money. So that's the way you have to compete. And for Manchester United, they want to return to former glory. And I think a lot of fans will do whatever it takes. They don't care who owns them as long as they're winning.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to.
And we know, Shreyas, that you know the Glazers have been in charge of United for 18 years now. These opportunities don't come around like it's once in a blue moon. Do you think they've looked at PSG, the league revenue, the fact PSG still haven't won the Champions League yet, despite having Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe as their attackers? Yeah. Maybe this could be an opportunity, if, to get the objective over the line with Manchester United.
I think definitely is. I think if you look at it from their perspective, they would be seeing that a manager, without having, the kind of investment that PSG have had has come so far, is able to tackle, the biggest teams in Europe right now and actually doing it quite comfortably. And except that, obviously, the league revenue that the French league is able to provide is, nowhere near to the revenue that the Premier League would provide. So definitely there would be a big revenue bonus for the, Qatari owners if they end up getting Manchester United. And we've seen how, they operate economically and financially with PSG. So imagine if, they have the, obviously they don't have to have the funds, but except that they will have the added revenue from the Premier League. They'll have more rights. They'll, probably get access to more sponsorships through the Premier League. So yeah, I think from their perspective, it is definitely something. It is definitely a step up from PSG. I think they can make a lot of money from Manchester United because if you have to compare it as brands, obviously Manchester United is still way ahead of PSG. If you have to look at it globally, and yeah, I think considering PSG definitely they have the lineup to win the Champions League, but they haven't been able to. And it has been a long time that they should definitely have won the Champions League considering the squad they've had. So yeah, I think probably maybe it might be time to move on. But yeah, the way things are looking, it looks like the primary focus, if they do end up getting Manchester United, would be in England.
Yeah, it'd be funny if we started seeing like weird exchanges, like fucking, I don't know, someone like Swansea going one way and Mbappe coming the other, and it's just like, you know what Barcelona did with was it Arthur and was the other Pjanic? I think it was, wasn't it? It's like £80 million. You're like, I don't know about that, mate. Something fucking dodgy is going on there.
It's the stature as well is different. Like, no offense to Newcastle, like it's a well-supported club. The fans are very passionate, but it's a small club. Like they haven't won anything for what? 40 years, 30 years, like a long time.
I disagree. I think Newcastle's a massive club.
No, they are massive, but in terms of like trophies won, dynasties, etc., they haven't done it. PSG was the same. Didn't have a lot of history of success. They had the odd one here and there, sure. City, same way. No history of success, no history of like dominating, not for a long time, not since like 60s, 70s, etc. United is a very different kettle of fish. United has had a recent history. We have dominated football for decades, won every single major trophy, won like multiple trophies at the same time, treble, won back-to-back leagues, etc. City had none of that before those came. So the scrutiny isn't that massive on a City, on a Newcastle. At Manchester United, the scrutiny is going to be massive because this club is absolutely huge all across the world, especially because of the success we've had. So that's what they've got to worry about right now. They've got to make sure everything they're doing, they're dotting the I's, crossing the T's, everything's squeaky clean because the scrutiny is going to be like no other club. And that's what we've got to contend with.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because one man who's going to be really influential in this decision is going to be Nasser Al-Khelaifi, who's president of PSG. Yeah. He's chairman of the European Clubs Association and has a close relationship with the UEFA president.
Nothing dodgy about that, is there?
Well, in fairness, in credit to him, when the Super League got brought around, he was one of the key decision makers who said no to it. Now, there could have been,
because he didn't need the money.
No, maybe not. But I'm just saying, like, it could have been easy. They could have made more money off this.
No, but like Barcelona bankrupt, Real Madrid are on the verge of like bankruptcy. United or PSG don't need the money because they've got billions. No, but he's got billions of personal fortunes, so you don't have any money to make because he's got it all. But
you make more. With capitalists and greedy people, you make more. They're always open to it. But is my point.
I think PSG is a vanity project. I don't think it's about making money. It's a vanity project. He wants the best players to play for him. So they bought Messi, Mbappe, Di Maria, etc. The list goes on, and they want to win trophies. They've won league for how many years now in a row, with countless. And obviously the Champions League is the crown jewel. That's the thing they want the most, and they can't get to it. It just seems to not be able to get there. So that's my point. It's a vanity project. It's not about making money, this club, for Al Khalifa, because they've got enough money. Yeah. Whereas somewhere like City, maybe it's a little different of a view there. It's a little different. They want to make money, and that's why they're sort of sending these fake funds to sponsorships and claiming they've got a bigger revenue than Man United and Real Madrid, which they haven't. So,
yeah. I think you pronounced Di Maria wrong as well, but I'll let it slide.
What did I say? I said Di Maria.
Yeah, it's pronounced snake.
No, sorry, I should have said.
Yeah, that's what you should have done. And everyone would be like, "Oh, now we know."
Yeah.
Nasser Al Khalifa is also the president of PSG, I believe. Reports seems to be going smoothly with him being involved, being a key influential figure. The whispers, Qatar confident that they're going to be successful, having been given the green light from UEFA, which came out recently, didn't it? That they're going to allow the clubs to basically do what they want. Now, this is where we move into the important stuff, the concerns of the type of ownership. Now, with many things in life, there are pros and cons, and it's a similar thing with this ownership. Obviously, if the Qataris take over, look, I'm not going to beat around the bush. They're going to have a lot of fucking money to invest in players, in the stadium, and other facilities, as well as connections around the world, and they'll probably make United a dominant force again in Europe. I think we can agree on that.
Yep.
However, everything comes with a price, and metaphorically speaking, this deal has been described by many fans as selling our soul to the devil. But let me know what you guys in the comment section think at home. I actually want to hear genuine opinions. I don't want to see no bullshit online. I want to hear what you actually think, because you're United fans. So please let us know in the chat. And Sam, I know you feel very passionate about this in particular, the concerns with the ownership.
Yeah.
Where would you stand if they take over?
I like Aaron Gregory's suggestion in the chat. Phil Jones going over to PSG. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Phil Jones? Phil Jones. So funny. Just Phil Jones putting on a PSG shirt. Amazing. Anyway, I said in the group chat, I've got a decision to make. If this does go through, I've got a decision to make whether I walk away from supporting Man United as a club or not, because I've got very strong when I say moral compass, it makes me sound like I feel like I'm better than other people. I'm not I'm an absolute scumbag of a person. I'm not like
scumbag.
I'm not like saying I'm better than anybody. I'm not saying my opinion is the right opinion. I'm not saying that everybody should do what I should do. For me personally, I've got very strong feelings against human rights abuses, against fairness, against people being able to live their lives to do what they want without fear of persecution. That's including women, gay, trans, lesbian, whatever it is, your race, your background, whatever it is. You're like, in this country, have we lost Race again?
No, not this time.
Oh, I can't see him.
We can see him. We can see that he's hiding in the dark. Anyways, that distracted the life out of me. Like obviously in this country, working class people like me and yourself, Nick, who've come from like very sort of poorer backgrounds, are discriminated against, not able to get to better jobs and higher paying jobs, etc. I'm against that in all forms, and it's even worse in sort of states like Saudi Arabia and Qatar, where people who I know, Dan spoke about it very passionately. Indian people went over to build those stadiums and died building these stadiums, and their bodies are buried underneath these stadiums. Not literally, but metaphorically.
What was he saying now? He said the stadium's built on graveyards?
Yeah, built on the graveyards of like, so, which is like, do you know what did he do with the stadiums after the World Cup? They tore them down. Like, what was the point? What was the fucking point of it? You killed people for no reason. And then on top of that, the laws are very restrictive. Again, it's a religious regime, which on one point I'm very respectful of people being able to choose to follow their own religious beliefs as they see fit, but when it's imposed on people, then I have an issue with it. That's a problem when they've got no choice but to follow it. If you choose to do that, whatever you want to do, and that happens in those states, women are very much under the thumb, not allowed a lot of rights. gay people, lesbian, trans people, immigrants, etc. There's a lot of bad stuff that goes on over there. I'm not just picking on Qatar either. A lot of countries are the same way. Our government treats immigrants fucking horrifically. Like, if I don't know if you've seen the immigration story recently in Knowsley, like, our country does the same thing, which is why I don't want any state to own our club. I don't want it to happen. Is there an issue with, say, Jim Ratcliffe owning us or an American billionaire? Obviously, their hands aren't going to be clean either. Like you said, Apple, there's people jumping off the roof in the Chinese factories before they moved them. They had nets up to stop them doing it. Jim Ratcliffe, environmentally, his company is a chemical company, not great to the environment. It's probably doing a lot of damage to the environment, the way they dispose of chemicals, etc. So there's no one clean here. We can't get away from it. There's going to be no way to get away with this deal and walk away and go, I'm happy with that. That's the result of where we are, unfortunately. I have to just go with the lesser of two evils, much like when you vote for in politics here in the UK. The Tories are cunts. Labour are also cunts, but they're less of cunts than the Tories are. So you have to just sort of... I kind of have to go there because they're bigger cunts. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I would prefer the Jim Ratcliffe and a billionaire to come in. Obviously, my ideal thing would be fan ownership, but that's not happening, ever. I'm sorry, but it's just not happening. No. So yeah, if Qatari does come in, and depending on what the structure is, like if it is truly state-owned, then obviously I need to start make a decision, but maybe they structure it with individual businessmen and stuff like that. I don't know. I really... We don't know anything. We don't know how it's going to be structured. We don't know who's involved. We just know it's from this country. So I'm really conflicted at the minute, and I don't have enough information to make an informed decision. That's where I'm at the minute. And I think a lot of fans are pretending that they are and they know what's going on. You don't. None of us know. We don't fucking know. You don't know. Not even... The only people who know are the Glazers and whoever's bidding. That's it.
And fucking Mike Keegan, apparently.
Apparently Mike Keegan.
On everything.
Yeah. Apparently Mike Keegan.
Yeah, like I said, it's not a deadline day. It's not like Fabrizio Romano's and say, Justin, Qatari have bid, you know.
And they're holding up the shirt.
Yeah. It's not going to be like that, but there's obviously there's going to be loads of opinions on this. The fan base is going to be split on it. Treyas, some people are in the camp that they'll support United no matter what. Some people feel really strongly, like Sam's just suggested. Where do you personally stand on it?
Personally, I think I'll when it comes to Qatari ownership, I definitely have similar views. Because I've seen people go from India, I've seen people go from Bangladesh, I've seen people go from Sri Lanka for the purpose of building those stadiums, and the way they were treated, the hours that they had to work because the project had to be fast-tracked in order to meet the requirements. It was really bad.
Passports taken away as well. They had the passports taken away.
Yeah, they had the passports taken away, and their families have suffered a lot because of it, and it has all most of it, I would say, has gone under the radar. And we all know, when Qatar actually wants to, get hold of something, when they, want to get done with something, they end up actually, succeeding in that. And if they genuinely want to buy Manchester United, I really think that, they have a very, very, I think in comparison to the people who are in the, in the race for the club, I think they will have the better chance. They're very organized when it comes to, buying football clubs. They have had a history with it, and, financially they're quite sound. Except that, I think whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's Qatari, whether it's Sir Jim Ratcliffe, personally, I really don't know how they're going to, function with the club. And except that when it comes to, how they actually progress and what goes on behind the scenes, definitely, I think Qatar and Saudi Arabia, we really shouldn't even look into there because there is so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes over there. And the kind of things that we hear, especially, a lot of stuff actually, it gets hidden, it gets backtracked, and we don't really see the true picture of things. We don't even know what the true scene is at PSG right now. I mean, we see this picture of, a club which is so strong, a club with so much funds. They can buy any player that they want, but we truly don't know what is going on behind the scenes. So, you never really know what happens when someone with, this sort of an influence actually comes in and buys the club. So, personally, I would support Manchester United, but when it comes to this sort of ownership, the problem is that we as fans can't really do anything about it. It just comes down to the Glazers, and at the end of the day, the person who actually ends up bidding the highest bid will end up buying the club, because the Glazers don't care what actually happens with the club. They just want the biggest paycheck. And I think it was around the World Cup that they actually started setting their camps around in the Saudis, in the Qatar and Dubai.
Oh, is
So
it
definitely,
the cricket thing or the chess thing that they were?
yeah. So definitely, I think probably there is something there. Probably Middle Eastern owners is the play for them. You never really know if it could also, it could just also be a thing where the Glazers have actually, lined up someone who they actually want to sell the club to. They have a high bid already, at their table, and they're just going on about it, seeing if someone actually bids higher than that. So yeah, I think ultimately we as fans can just hope for the best, and as fans we can just expect them to work ethically with the club. But except that, I think it will just come down to who offers the biggest paycheck to the Glazers.
And the topics that we've been discussing, we can't just push them under the carpet. If it gets announced tonight that Qatar basically they won the bid for United, which I've said since the start, since I've heard they was interested, I've said they're 100% convinced that they're going to get it if they want it, because they've got the financial power to just blow anyone out of the water. And I don't mean that in a sense where it's just going to be they'll offer 10 billion and everyone else 4. I just mean they will offer the most within regards, like without them overpaying, and they've got the best resources. Like Sir Jim Ratcliffe's been linked with, I think, JP Morgan, who was also linked with Super League and stuff. In terms of having that financial backing to clear, to deal with the debt and things, and certain fans weren't happy about that. So, yeah, I just think when you look at everything that Saudi Arabia might shock you. They might come in and they might come in with a bid. I'm not sure, but as it stands, I feel like the Qataris will get the club. And like I said, we can't brush the things under the carpet that we've just been discussing. The human rights record, issues with the LGBTQ plus. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
I want to get it right. Yeah, the community, workers' rights during the World Cup, literally immigrants dying, building stadiums and stuff. It's just like, you cannot ignore that kind of stuff. And I feel like the reason why they went for the World Cup was to kind of plaster over that and to make people drawn towards.
It's sports washing.
Yeah. 101. Like, it's... Yeah, like it's similar thing. I remember Brazil when they hosted it. Like, do you remember they covered up all the favelas, kind of things?
The favelas, didn't they? Yeah. It's sports washing, like it is, and like it's really sad because I bet Qatari people are absolutely amazing. I bet like from everybody I've heard that went to the World Cup, the Qatari people are some of the loveliest, most hospitable people you'll ever meet. Like I saw videos where they were like sort of stood around and they'd come out and like chat with him, have tea and stuff like that, which is great. But it's just a shame that the government and the people who run the country are committing these horrible things, and that's the problem we have. That's the issue we have. It's the people who running it, not the people part of the country. People running it. There's a load of comments. Can I just rattle through a few?
Yeah, get into them. Go through them.
Aaron Diaz. First things first, they should not be open to join the Super League. That would not go well with fans. I think they'll probably make a statement about that, like just make their intentions known that they're not going to do that. Chivy, Sam's going in. Sorry, mate. It's wasted time. Aaron Gregory, you need to remember we support the badge in the club. We have no say who buys the club. Never would. We have American owners whose country bans abortion and racist law enforcement. Yeah, totally. We never win with owners. No, definitely not. Kali Raman, do we have new owners now? Not yet, mate. The soft deadline is today, so we might have within a couple of weeks. Aaron, Manchester United is bigger than any owner who comes in. The history of the fans, always the heart of the club, not the person funded it. So yeah, a lot of interesting comments in the a lot of really well thought comments as well. So
yeah.
Sorry, one sec. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just plugged me.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was touching on them with Qatar and the World Cup, they're going to do a similar thing with Manchester United. When a state like Qatar is connected to a name like Manchester United, it's global appeal. They will absolutely love that because United, what we regard United as, the history of the club. one of the biggest clubs on the planet. Like, it's just passion, and it's celebrated across the world, and they're going to have their name attached to that ultimately, which is huge, which can't be understated. But going back to the human rights situation, I wanted to touch on this. So a human rights group, Fair Square, have written to UEFA's president, Alexander Seferin, to highlight these issues. And the letter says, in line with UEFA's rules aimed at protecting the integrity of its competitions, we would urge UEFA to outline a clear public position prohibiting any takeover of this nature. No consortium of Qatari investors capable of such an acquisition would be able to convincingly demonstrate their independence from the Qatari state. So it's a bit of a minefield as to how Qatar are going to get past these stumbling blocks. Dual club ownership, the human rights records and stuff which you already touched on, and other bidders that are interested in the club. But ultimately, Sam, I know we've said this a few times, but it's just money and power, which is probably going to overrule this situation, right?
You've seen it, like governments, like especially, like just use ours for example, the amount of stuff they have done over the pandemic that if me or you did it, or regular sort of people did, be in jail, fined, ultimate punishment, and they were just allowed to do no consequence, no punishment, nothing. That's how it works. That's how the world works, sadly. Like, everybody calls me a cynical and depressing and stuff like that, but it's the reality of how the world works. If you've got money, you can do pretty much whatever you want. It's just about how much you have to pay to do it. That's it. Like, I've used the example thousands of times. My mate used to work for a merch company for gigs. They supplied a merch for bands and rappers and what have you. And he was at the gig working, and Paul Pogba showed up to this gig, parked his Rolls Royce right at the front of the venue where it's all double yellow lines. And my mate was like, "Oh, you'll get a ticket if you park there." And he's like, "Don't worry about it." Came out, there was a ticket on his card. He literally handed it to his minder, and the minder just took a load of cash out, put it in the thing. That's it. So it's like, it's not illegal for them. It's just how much does it cost to do that?
Yeah.
And when you've got pockets worth 4.5-5 billion, which is what they're paying for the club, so God knows how much they actually have. Yeah. It's just a case of, right, how much do we have to give to UEFA? How much do we have to give to charities in philanthropy? I can't say that word. Philanthropy. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Can't say it either.
basically, when big corporations donate to charities as a gesture of goodwill to make themselves look good. It's not, not interested in the cause.
Again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
So it's basically, that's what's going to happen. They'll donate to Amnesty International, or they'll do something like that. It's basically how much it's going to cost them to get away with this and do what they want. That's what it comes down to. And we know UEFA, FIFA, FA, they've got no backbone. They're corrupt as fuck. I don't know if anybody watched the FIFA documentary, but
terrible.
That's just the example right there. And UEFA are no better. FA are no better. Nobody, like, they just grease the palms, grease the wheels, get away with it.
Judging from the Newcastle deal, Sam, I don't think the Premier League are much better, because they've allowed Saudi Arabia to take over, given even the certain circumstances there. Because they're claiming they're not tied to the state ownership, which they clearly are. On the flip side of this, Shrey, as if Qatar investment does take over, Ten Hag backed with that kind of money, do you think that'd be a warning sign for the Premier League?
I think it definitely would be a big warning sign for the Premier League, because without those sort of funds, Ten Hag has pretty much performed a miracle in these 8 months. I mean, if he has the kind of funds that Pep Guardiola has had in the past 3, 5, 6, 7, how many seasons, he'll build a unit which I don't see any team in the Premier League or Europe actually competing with. And that is the biggest reason why I'm scared about Qatari ownership, because already Manchester United is, it is a big target when it comes to media. And if you see us under Qatari ownership, it will just be a bigger target for us to have on our backs as a club. And I think most of it, I think many people definitely see the human rights side of things or the ethical side of things. But if this sort of deal happens, then most of the rival fans, I don't think they would even look into those sort of things. They would just see that, Manchester United, biggest club, they have the funds, and now they have Qatari ownership, unlimited money. Definitely they're going to dominate the league. That's the only thing that they'll see and attack the club with. So definitely, I think if Ten Hag gets the funds he wants, I think within a window we'll be seeing massive changes. You could see us with pretty much an entire second team, with fullbacks, with defenders, with the midfielders that Ten Hag actually wants. We could see the funds being used more, efficiently. You could see players who actually want to be a part of the club actually coming to the club, and Ten Hag's ideology perfectly flowing through the squad. But the price that it will come with, I think the players will have to be very, very thick-skinned. The club has to be very, very thick-skinned, and yeah, I think it's going to be a big roller coaster whenever this gets announced. I think it will get announced, and whenever it does, it's going to cause a big storm in the Premier League.
Yeah. See, for me, I feel like it takes away a little bit what Manchester United are about as well. Like United was built from working class people, railway workers in the late 1800s. That's how where we stem from as a club. And you look at our traditions and our histories. It's the total opposite of the people who were taking over, essentially. And I get people are happy. They want us to be successful. There's going to be money invested. Ten Hag's a fantastic manager, so you can only imagine what he can do with funds provided to him. But again, I'm really conflicted in this, like most people.
I think most fans are. I think most fans are in that position. We don't know what to think. I'm going to rattle off some comments because there's 30 people in the chat and it's popping off. I absolutely love it. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Isilio Prank TV. I would like the Qatari to take over the club and guide it to success. There you go. Shah Sam. I think he's on quite regularly, isn't he, Shah Sam? Shah Sam. The only thing I'm worried about is they might go around the rules and be able to get us, but later it might come and hurt us. Yeah, that's what it supposedly is happening to City, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. Dave in the chat, shout out. Dave's part of the channel. There's no reason why such a popular Qatar fund couldn't buy United. Look at Newcastle City, then look at Red Bull owning multiple clubs in the same competition. Yeah, good point. And then Innocent Ogaba, anybody should take over. Give us what we want, please. So there you go. This sort of means like a lot of conflicted opinions in the chat.
Yeah, it's diverse. Let's see what happens over the next couple of weeks, because reports came out last night. The club is expected to be sold in the next 6 weeks, so by Easter, effectively, maybe a little bit after that. But the bids have gone in today, so the car is moving effectively. That's the way we're going. What happens next? I don't think United or the Rain Group will make a formal statement once the bids have gone in, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe we'll hear a few things from journalists like your Mike Keegans and these kind of guys who have the fingers on the pulse. But again, essentially, it'd be for the Glazer family to decide whether to proceed with a full sale. We've always known there's been a split between the family. Some people really want to sell it, and then Joel and Avram being the main ones who want to keep hold of the club and
can you imagine?
To get a minority.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God, pitchforks, fucking the lot, mate. Yeah, if you thought we was mad at the Super League, wait until you try double downers on that. If you say you're going to sell the club, and then you're going to backtrack on that,
there's going to be riots. There's going to be riots at the stadium, man.
Yeah,
riots.
Trust me, there will be.
But yeah, so desperate for a club, give them Liverpool.
Yeah, well, there was fake reports of that, didn't you? I saw a Liverpool fan on TikTok. They
just losing his shit.
Everyone was like, hey, it's fake. It's not a real account. And he was like, oh, right, okay. Because he was like, fuck off. I don't want these people in the club. But yeah, this deal's, the aim is to be concluded by April, I think it is. But most people involved are confident it can be done certainly by the end of the season.
They said Easter, by Easter, we'll have new owners.
By March, I think by mid-March, we'll definitely know who is, who are the main people involved and who is in prime position to actually buy the club. I think right now there are still like 3 to 4 names still there, but by the time mid-March comes in, I think it would be down to just 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Question from Egnoy David. Guys, would you like an upgraded Old Trafford or a newly built state-of-the-art stadium?
Who wants to go first on that? I can go first.
You go first.
Yeah.
I don't want Old Trafford being knocked down simply because of the history that, the amount of trophies we won, the amount of everything we've been through with the team. I don't want to see that. It's got an aura about it. It's got something special about it. However, I want it modernized. I want it expanded. And I want the internet sorted out in there. For the signal is dog shit.
Christ.
That sort out, please, for the love of God, because it's awful. People will know, and like Sam mentioned in the chat before, leaks, etc. So
sort out the ticketing. Sort out the ticketing site for fuck's sake. Just make it easy.
One of the reasons why I was happy when I heard Apple. I know it was a rumor. Looking back on it now, but that's one of the reasons why I got excited about it, because I feel like the stadium would be unbelievable. I was just thinking about the stadium, thinking that'd be first class. That like you'd walk in, holographic fucking like it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
And if you look at like Spurs' stadium, the way
Yeah.
they're doing,
I want to
things,
go see.
unbelievable.
I want to go see it. I want to go see it.
You got pints that poured himself.
I
It's
know.
mental, and that's the kind of shit I want. Like,
Yeah.
sign me up. So yeah, I want it modernising, and yeah, like I touched on a few things doing, but I don't want it being knocked down.
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion. I think I really don't want it to be knocked down because like I am a big fan of AC Milan. Like I love the San Siro.
Yeah.
I think it's such a classic, iconic stadium, and a lot of people say like it's fallen apart a bit, and there's like it's in ruins and it needs a bit of a freshening up, and obviously they're gonna knock it down in like 3 years, like just to prove. Like I've got like a frame thing there. So yeah, I think they're knocking it down, so I'm going to try and go over this year and see it because I've never been. So I want to go see it before it gets knocked down. And I think a lot of Milan fans are probably really gutted about it because there's such history in that stadium, Champions League wins, etc. Like lots of history. I think a lot of United fans would be the same. I think I think like Nick's idea, modernise it, like build new stands, maybe shut one down temporarily to build a new one and then do it that way, just like work your way through. But if it is going to be knocked down and if they were build something new, I'd love to see them incorporate old elements of Old Trafford into it as like a design feature. I don't want this fucking like every stadium I see is just a silver dome, silver like bedpan looking thing. Like it's just it's the same shit every single time, and I'm just like, can we have some imagination? Like let's make it look a little different, something interesting. So maybe they could put like the Old Trafford Manchester United red light up sign with the white stands at the front. It's non-functional, it doesn't do anything, but it looks, do you know what I mean? Incorporates some designs, that kind of stuff. Because we own all the land around it. Like, we own all of it around, and we're doing nothing, but it's just car parks at the minute. And then we could build, like, a little youth stadium as well, have that there. So, and then
like City you've got, where it's, like, across the thing.
And, like, a women's stadium as well, because they play in fucking Lee at the minute, which is ridiculous. Women's stadium as well. And, like, you could structure it as well. I think Steve Howson had this idea. Have the youth on match day, have the youth games at 12 o'clock, and then at 3 o'clock you got United on. So all these fans turn up for the experience. You go watch the youth game, support things, then you walk across to the main game and watch the match. I think that would be brilliant. But obviously, you need to redevelop everything and change everything and stuff like that. Yeah. But that would be my ideal situation.
Yeah. What about yourself, Trey? It's interesting. Even like talking about sets of new things is quite exciting, isn't it? I know we discussed everything with Qatari ownership, but just in general, forgetting the ownership for now, just the thought of a new stadium or modernising it. How would you go about it?
I think definitely. For me, it would be modernizing it. I don't want it to be knocked down because Old Trafford is one of the most iconic stadiums in the world, and
let Shirayas get there before we knock it down. Let him come visit, and then they can knock it down.
See it once. And from a viewer's perspective as well, whenever I've seen it as a kid on TV, I've seen how passionately fans are connected with the stadium and the memory and just the drive that this carries on in the hearts of the players as well as the fans. So for me, it would be to just modernize the stadium. You can actually do a lot by just modernizing it. Probably use another ground for a bit while you modernize it. But for me, it would definitely be modernizing it. I wouldn't want it to be knocked down because I think I don't think that Old Trafford is in such a bad state that it cannot be renovated. I think it can be renovated if it would have been a situation where
it's just neglected, isn't it? It's just been neglected.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. And it isn't a situation where it is risky for players to play or it is risky for fans to just watch games by being in attendance in the stadium. So for me, it would be renovating it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we're all on a similar page there.
Great question.
It's weird though, isn't it, Sam?
Great question from Megnoy David, by the way.
Oh yeah. It's weird, isn't it, Sam? Because a moment like this, we should be celebrating that the Glazers are finally going after a terrible 18-year ownership. Yeah. But yet you feel emotionally conflicted because of the potential backlash these owners might bring in.
Yeah, it's not quite at that level yet for me, but it's sometimes it feels a bit like better the devil, doesn't it? Like You know what the Glazers are about. You know what to expect. They ain't going to spend money on the stadium. They ain't going to spend money on the training. They ain't going to give you the full amount that they should do at the transfer window or run the club properly. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to happen. So, but then the Qataris is all this promise and stuff about stadium revamping, training ground, money for Ten Hag to spend, etc. It's all that promise, but then what do you get attached to that? Like we've spoke about, human rights abuses, etc. All that's state owned. It's tricky, man. It's really tricky to navigate. It's really tricky to know and get excited about it because you know what's attached to it, and there is no right answer to it other than fan ownership. But again, that's not an option that's on the table and probably never will be. So we're kind of stuck where we are at the minute as fans. That's the way it is. Chivy saying upgraded Old Trafford, can't see us anywhere. Aaron Gregory, don't want to hear talk of a newly built stadium. If they knock it down, I'll chain myself to it like Ali G.
Like, no, mate, you're not taking this down. I'm fucking tired. Well, yeah, given the ownership, they'd probably. Anyway. Any worries from your side, Shreyas, that they might still? Kind of the last question on this ownership thing because we have been speaking about for a while. But any worries from your side they might still sell a minor stake? Because that's a couple of rumblings that's going about at the minute.
No, I don't think so. I think, like you mentioned, if this happens, people with pitchforks will go to their houses, and I think the kind of names that are involved and the kind of money that is involved now, I don't see that being used as a minor stake. And I think the kind of sale that is being proposed since the start has been a full sale. I don't see someone like a Qatar or someone like Dubai or even Sir Jim Ratcliffe, allowing a minor stake of the Glazers still being at the club while we are moving onwards to a new era under a new ownership. So yeah, I really don't think that we'll be seeing any interaction of the Glazers with the club once the sale actually goes through. And I think once again there never is a boring day with United. Every single day you see something completely different pop up. So
it's to push the price up.
You never know.
That's what it is. Like the Glazers are
probably,
they're like, we might not sell it, might just sell minor stake, and then people come, we need to buy it, let's put more money. Do you know what I mean? It might just be spin.
Because right now, just in the opening bids, the price is about like 5 billion. So the Glazers know that if people are willing to actually spend like 5 billion on the club, they can easily spend 6 or 7 on the club. And right now they'll do whatever it takes to actually drive the price up, because this is pretty much their last paycheck from Manchester United.
It's just a bit annoying for us as fans because no United officials actually spoken about the process publicly. I think we might hear some details in regards to Cristiano gives it's quarterly financials results in a few weeks' time. So I'm sure you'll hear some stuff coming out of that in regards to the sale and stock prices and all that kind of shite. So we'll just wait and see. But yeah, we'll park that aside. We've just got one more topic that I wanted to discuss, which isn't exactly, it's not 10 o'clock news kind of stuff. It's, we've got a director of operations apparently, a man who organises the bus. Something along the lines of that.
Sorts the minibus out.
Yeah, sorts the minibus out. It makes sure everyone has a coffee. Yeah. Gives a few bibs out. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. But we initially thought it could be a sporting director, but it's not that. So Manchester United have appointed David Harrison as a director of football operations. He joins from Everton, where he held the same role. Harrison will manage football administration, team travel, player support, Jammy Dodger biscuits, and based at Carrington, he replaces Alan Dawson, who did a job for 11 years. John Mercer said David Harrison is known as one of the most able. I've got so many jokes flying about him here. Is known as the most able and respected operators in football, and we are delighted that he is chosen to join.
What do you want, Barry? What milk, 2 sugar? That's all he's doing.
We've got knobs. We've got digestives. Which one do you want? Basically, that's what he's doing.
I bet he's getting paid a shit ton of money as well for it.
He must be, Anyway, he says, my focus is on helping United create the best possible operating environment to support success on the pitch.
By going to Asda and getting the right biscuits. Dear.
Maguire, I know you like your bourbons, mate. I'll want you a pack of them, don't worry. Oh my god. Do you have any reaction to the story at all, Sam? Like, it's not sparkling news.
No.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, David. But
we're only messing with you, like.
yeah,
we're not taking.
we're only joking.
Well, maybe it's because John Murta and Richard Isle were jet setting about fucking everywhere at the summertime, like just going to Bas. I was listening to the Athletic podcast the other day. Apparently, they were in Barcelona like a lot last summer, trying to get Frankie out.
Yeah.
They were like, but even that, apparently that's underreported. Apparently, they were there a lot more than that. Like they were there fucking shit at the time, trying to get this Frankie deal, and then God knows where else they were going. Like going to, was it Milan, Turin for Rabiot's mum and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's just.
Murta's still got the imprint of Rabiot's mum's hand on his fucking face, so he got.
So it's just like it's weird. It's a weird fucking. I hopefully when the new owners come in, the first thing they do is go Murta, Fletcher, so piss off, out the door, and they bring in like a what the fuck's his name, Paul Mitchell, bring back Ralph Rangnick, bring in a Dan Ashworth type character, somebody to run the club properly. Hopefully that's what happens, because these guys are just not up to it, are they? Not up to it.
It leads me perfectly on to my last question, kind of. Shreyas, it's a little bit strange, isn't it? People being appointed when new owners are about to take over. You don't think?
I don't know. Maybe perhaps the Glazers trying to show that they still want to work at the club, but I don't know. I really don't understand the point of it, especially I think he comes from Everton, so
Versus mate. Everton used to work at Everton, right?
Yeah, so I don't think Everton have been doing pretty great, in the past few years. I mean, if you actually, wanted to appoint someone, who can do a good job for us, like Sam mentioned.
I don't think that's good.
Well,
I don't think that's got anything to do with the biscuit delivery, sure as. I don't
biscuits here.
I don't think the reason Frank Lampard lost his job is because this guy got the wrong biscuits for Connor Cody and that. Like,
I think it's the exact opposite. Had too many biscuits. Lampard, yeah. Oh God. Anyway. Sorry, let's continue.
Yeah. Yeah, and we
so
see,
uninterested in this story.
Yeah. Cheers for joining, mate. When the Qataris come in about 2 months' time, you're just gonna get fucking kicked out with the rest of them. So,
have we hired a new cleaner? Should we put that in the news story? Is there a new cleaner of the bogs at Old Trafford?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Like, who gives a shit?
I really don't see anyone on the board actually maintaining their jobs after new ownership. I think every single one of them will be gone.
I'm not sure how they're going to go about this, because I've heard that they might go about it like they'll take it 6 months time, settle in, see what's what, then start removing people. Or there's been situations where they've just come in and gone fuck off. And everyone.
Do you know the Amazon Prime documentary that we want for United?
Oh yeah.
Start filming that day. Bring him in.
Oh my God.
Just coming in, just be like John Merton, like, Richard, fired.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Like The Apprentice.
Yeah. Just. Yeah. Be amazing. Be
Murtaugh,
so good.
Put your butty down and come in this conference room. You're getting sacked, lad.
Yeah.
But equally, I think it's important to be measured about it, because look what happened with Chelsea. They came in, got rid of their whole operational system, which worked so well for so many years, and just completely fucked everyone off. Todd Bowley went, I'm buying you. Like,
well, Newcastle.
It could go that way. Do you know what I mean?
Newcastle did the other way though, didn't they? They got it in place. They hired the right people for the right positions. Got Dan Ashworth in. Got like a good recruiter in. Got a good manager for their level, for what they were trying to do.
Great biscuit.
Biscuit subscription. Oh, this story's been ruined, hasn't it? I'm gonna have to make a graphic of a bourbon and this guy's face. This is what I'm gonna have to do now. Oh, fucking hell.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm so sorry.
I hope you don't watch this channel.
It's just like I've got a degree in this.
Yeah, a really important job. Like, I'm sorting out travel to Barcelona. Like, fucking hell.
Oh, fucking hell. Right. Should we?
Let's
should we
wrap
end it
up.
there?
Yeah, let's wrap up.
Let's wrap it up.
Fucking hell.
Thank you for everybody watching. It's been a very mixed show, as you can see by the end of this show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Smash a like on the video. Check us out on socials: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. We're absolutely everywhere. Real Reds Talk. On the links are in the video description. Tomorrow, Saturday, we've got a preview for the Leicester game, I believe. Not sure what time that'll be. Maybe midday, similar 5 o'clock.
We'll work it out.
And then we'll have a watch along for the Leicester game as well. So unless you guys got anything else to add, thank you for coming on. And yeah, been a really good show this.
Thank you for all the support in the chat. Lots of questions, lots of interactions. We love when people like join in and stuff like that. So please keep it up, and please keep coming back every time there's a video comes live. Come join us. We appreciate it. And yeah, like Nick said, follow all the socials. A lot of interaction going on in there as well. We appreciate the support.
Yeah. Guys, anything else to add before we head off?
Yeah, the biscuits moment. Yeah, it just completely shifted. It just tilted the momentum of the
We needed levity.
Light in it.
We needed levity. Like, it's a tough subject to talk about. We needed something to lighten the mood because fucking hell. So yeah. Sorry, Dave. Sorry, Dave.
Leave your favourite biscuit in the comment section, and we'll
good idea.
See,
good idea. Yeah. Put your favourite.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Have a lovely weekend. Peace.
So yeah.